So how many megapixels do you need? Hey, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, not nearly as many as you think. I don't often talk about my portrait work on the channel, but I'm going to do it in a video today. I am going to tell you about how I routinely get prints up to 60 inches from my EOS R camera, which only has 30 megapixels. Let's get into it. I currently have an exhibit of my photography at an event here in San Antonio called Photo Septiembre. Just so happens that this is the perfect opportunity to actually show you some of the larger prints I do and that I routinely do from my EOS R camera, which has 30 megapixels. These portraits were created in a lot of different locations under a lot of different lighting conditions, and many of them were very challenging. In fact, that's one of the reasons I shot many of these portraits, because they were hard to do. And I wanted to use this project that I'm working on to stretch my photographic abilities. In this video, I'm going to go over a few of these portraits, these prints, tell you a little bit about what it took to get them. Okay, just a quick note here. I'm going to go into a little bit how we did it, but some of these images, as I look at them, I really want to do videos that go a lot deeper into them individually, because there's quite a lot to some of these as to how it was done. So that's coming later. Okay, this first image was shot at the Tobin Center here in San Antonio, a performing arts venue. It's a beautiful facility, and we had some of the crew helping us with lighting, but only the lighting of the seating area of the venue, which is beautiful as you can see from the image, but we didn't really have anything going on the stage because we're just doing a portrait session. They're not going to set up the stage of this giant venue just for a portrait session. So I knew this going in. I knew that it was going to be very dark going in. I was going to be running high ISO, and I wound up running 4,000, ISO 4,000. Now, sounds kind of high, knowing that I'm going to be having 60-inch prints. So what I did, also knowing that it was high, I brought a flash. But I brought my regular AD200 Pro Godox flash, which is only 200 watt seconds. That's a pretty small flash. But we're at ISO 4,000. Again, you have to plan these shots. So knowing I was going to be in low light, I didn't need a giant flash, because I had to balance it anyway. I wasn't going to try and light the venue. So I had to establish a relationship and balance the light on the subject with the light on the background in both color and level. So this was tricky. And I knew the shot was going to be very wide because, again, 60-inch print, it was huge. So I knew that I was going to be shooting, I think I shot this somewhere around 24 millimeters, maybe even wider. And I shot it, I think, at about f5.6. So 5.6 at a 20 to 24 millimeter, you do have enough depth to see the background well enough. You don't want the background tack sharp, you want the subject sharp. So we had lots of depth of field, and I could balance the light with the flash. Now, ISO 4000, 30 megapixel sensor, 60-inch print. And from 3 to 4 feet away, this thing is clean. This print is gorgeous. Now, if I go right up to it and look at it like that, can I see some grain and noise? Sure. But who does that to a 5-foot print? It's not how you look at the piece of art. You have to realize what you're trying to achieve. So, knowing that I was going to be having this size print, we're good. The 30 megapixels, more than enough. Enlarges beautifully. Now, this next image was done at another performing arts venue here in San Antonio, a different one. But again, similar challenge, but as you can see in this image, we had a whole lot more going on. We had a piano, we had all these quilts, we had some published works by the subject who was an author. All of it was part of the subject. So the subject was much larger in the space. The lighting was very similar to the last image I showed. We had lighting over the seating area to some degree, but this time we had more lighting on the stage, and the light color was not really pretty. I had a lot of mixed light going on. I ran a similar ISO 4000, a very similar flash situation. I ran the AD200 Pro, again, knowing all the same constraints I had from the last one. The challenge with this one wasn't the amount of light, it was having the light be the right color on the subject. And what I did was I had the flash on the subject, so I knew that the flash color temperature was going to look good on her face. And in post, in Lightroom, Lightroom has new wonderful selection brushes that you can use, and you can select subject or background or brush or anything, and you can selectively play with the color temperature a little bit. That was some of the challenge for this image, but once again, from 3 to 4 feet, ISO 4000, 30 megapixel sensor, 60-inch print, looks absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't require 50 or 100 megapixels. It just doesn't. These are large prints. Many of you watching this may never have seen a 60-inch print in person. At least that's my experience with my clients. When they see large prints, they're like, wow. In fact, the first time I saw these prints, and I'm used to it, kind of took my breath a little bit because these are gorgeous prints. Okay, this next image is really challenging. In fact, this is the most challenging image that I'm showing in this video. This portrait was shot in a cave, 8 stories underground, cool, damp, wet, and the only gear I could use was the gear I carried on my back because I wasn't about to do multiple trips over 8 stories of narrow, wet steps. Wasn't gonna happen. So whatever I could get in the backpack that I carried is what I did. So at a high level, this one's gonna get its own video, and it's gonna be done soon. I'm already starting to work on it. So I will tell you a lot more about this one because I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun telling you how I did it. But for right now, basically I did use 2 flashes. I used my Godox AD200 Pro, which I've talked about, and I also used another Godox Speedlight, the 685. It's all I had for lighting, and this cave was dark. This was shot at ISO 6000. So, but the important point for this video, once again, is that this is a 60-inch print, and at a 3 to 4 foot viewing distance, which is what you would normally look, it looks gorgeous. Yeah, if you get close, you can see a little more color noise in it. Of course, it was shot at ISO 6000. But you have to be really close. At a normal viewing distance, the proper way you should look at a 60-inch print is beautiful. You don't have any issues with it. I'm gonna keep repeating it because I am really over hearing that I need so many megapixels from camera manufacturers. I don't, you don't. You need skill, you need technique, and you need ability. The equipment, in most cases, the cameras that are available today are far beyond our ability as photographers to use. I'm being honest, it's true. Hey, would I love to have the most expensive, sure, but do I need it? No. Okay, one more image we're going to talk about here. This one was not technically quite as challenging as the other images, but it was challenging in the sense that I only had 10 minutes to do it. I had 10 minutes to set up, shoot, and be gone. This was of the mayor of San Antonio in his office. Now, just at a high level, the ISO I believe we shot at was 800, but the ambient was 800, but you got really bright windows, you got mixed color temperatures, lamps going on all over the place. Once again, in a portrait, you have to tie it together and make a cohesive lighting pattern. So I just had my one flash with me, my trusty flash you've heard many times on the video, the AD200 Pro. Plenty of light for ISO 200 because what I wanted to do again was get the light right on the subject, the mayor. So easy enough to do that and balance the levels. Post was a lot of work on this image to balance the colors in the windows, to balance the lamp colors. Lightroom is your friend doing this. If you want to hear more about how I do that process, let me know in the comments, because in the recent year or so, Lightroom has come so far in what it allows you to do that I hate to admit it, I've been leaning on it quite a bit to accomplish some things I really couldn't have done easily before. I mean, you can always do things if you have enough work and assistance and crew and equipment, but man, you can run and gun now because you can have much finer control with Lightroom. It's really a lifesaver, and let me know if you want to hear some more about that particular workflow. So what do you think? Do you think my little EOS R 30 megapixel sensor let me down? I sure don't. This exhibit is wonderful. People's reactions to it have been fantastic. While I do large prints, I don't do 60-inch prints all the time. And to see so many of them in one place in one exhibit, it was exciting. I've been talking about these prints now throughout this video, and I have to give credit to Digital Pro Lab here in San Antonio, who actually created these prints on Hahnemühle fine art papers. We used the Burrito, we used the Torsion, I believe, the German etching. Amanda and Ray chose the papers for these prints to match the subject, and they did all the mounting and display, and they did a fabulous job. I'm gonna link to the lab in the comments below, because anywhere you are in the country, you can work with Digital Pro Lab remotely via mail. Great lab, and this fine art stuff, they really do it well. This is the kind of stuff that's really fun for me when I'm really stretching my ability to do it better and make myself work harder, and it's exciting as a photographer. Thanks for watching so much. Until the next video, cheers.